Yeah, I know. I know that
Okay.
I'm speaking to everyone. I know that what goes up on YouTube actually shows what's happening way before the people realize that they're
Right.
online. So this is a special shout out to those of you watching at the very first frame.
You get to hear
Welcome.
the pre-welcome welcome.
Exactly.
Welcome everybody to the Myst Documentary sneak peek panel. It's not a
Woo!
sneak peek of the documentary per se, but we do have a sneak peek of something else happening later in the stream. I'm Katie. You've met me a couple times already. You've met Phillip many times, but I just want to go around and have everybody introduce themselves and tell you what they do on the documentary, how they know Phillip, why they know Phillip. And I think we should save you for last, Phillip. So let's start with Joshua.
Hi, everyone. I'm
Hi,
Joshua.
Joshua. Oh,
hello, Phillip.
It's nice
How
to
are
see
you
Joshua.
today?
I'm okay.
I am the assistant editor on this project. I'm helping out Phillip and our editor with doing all kinds of different things, including getting snippets together for social media and Kickstarter. I am sort of a newcomer to this project. I knew about Phillip because I watched an earlier documentary that he made, and I got in contact with him, and I heard that he was working on a Myst documentary, and I played the original and Riven back in freshman year of college, and I really enjoyed both of those. And I was super excited to hear that there was a documentary being
That's
made.
funny.
So,
I also played them in the freshman year of college.
oh my gosh.
You're so young.
Phillip and I have like parallel lives because
What
I also
has happened before, it will happen again. This has all happened before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Joshua is amazing, by the way. Some of the stuff we're going to see today, Joshua.
Yes, I'm really excited for you guys to look at that. It's going to be
too.
amazing.
Yeah.
Randy, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Randy. I'm a friend of Phil's actually since 7th grade. It's been a long haul with this guy. I'm one of the writers on the project. Hello, Phil.
Logo, yeah.
I always tell people that you guys were friends since birth, like we're in the bathtub together as babies.
Well, we have the exact same birthday. We do have the same birthday.
A little different than that, yeah. So
that's where the confusion was.
Yeah, if we were,
I'm the writers on the project. I'm a bit of a newbie when it comes to Myst, but I've been learning a lot about this. I've been watching more than 100, maybe 150 hours of footage that Phillip has shot on this. I'm a freelance journalist, so I've been writing for most of my life. I've actually worked for the Seattle International Film Festival on a lot of their blurbs, and I'm a huge movie lover, so I'm really thrilled to be working on the project and working with Phil.
Randy is also being humble in terms of his cinema knowledge and appreciation. I had to pay an enormous amount of money to NYU to get half of what Randy has.
I paid a lot of money to watch a lot of movies too.
My favorite part of every meeting is the very abstract, far-flung, obscure quotes or references that you make, Randy. I must admit, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, Randy, that's something. Yeah, it's something else. We'll have to put that like in the movie or on the bonus reel somewhere. Randy has an unbelievable knowledge, memory for lyrics and quotes.
I should know, Mr. Torrance. I've always been here.
If you know it, you love it. Okay. That's
awesome. Good morning, Elana.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Mysterium. I'm Elana. I'm a front-end software engineer and game designer. I met Phillip a couple of years ago at the 2019 Mysterium in Spokane. We both live in Brooklyn. I reached out to him after the convention. We got coffee a few times, and I was just really excited about the project and very passionate about Myst. And basically, I just wanted to contribute in any way that I could. And we pretty quickly realized that my front-end software engineering skills would probably be handy for building out our web presence. So that's what I've been doing. I made the mystdocumentary.com page and the press page that you can link to from there. And there's some new projects in the works.
Yes, indeed. We will be seeing Elana in a little bit again.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots more from Elana. Let's go to Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mysterium. So I met Phillip through Phillip is a man of many talents, as many of you here know, but he also has an excellent podcast called What If, which is a science podcast. I met Phillip originally.
Thank you for the plug, Will. That was excellent.
Yeah, find him on Patreon. Phillip's co-host, Matt Stanley, is somebody I knew through my former life in academia, and so I met Phillip through Matt Stanley. And so I joined this project during the Kickstarter. And so I'm a producer on the project, which means dealing with fundraising stuff and sort of project management and, whatever the project needs, I'm there for it. I also help Phillip out with some of his other nerdful endeavors.
Indeed. And what I love your backdrop, Will, of course, and I love Elana's backdrop. And I noticed that, Will, you seem to just be sort of up the hill from Elana. So I think if you turn around, you might see her down there. Although Elana has a little shallower depth of field. Her camera's farther away. So actually her camera may be at your position. Anyway, thank you. Will is unbelievable. It's nice to have you here.
Rachel.
Hello.
Good morning, Rachel. Hi.
I think I'm the newest family member.
Yeah.
Even though Phil and I are very, very young, I have known him for over 20 years and literally jumped at the chance to work with him and was very delighted to see that everybody on the team is as amazing as Phil. And I am presently the producer. I'm sort of Will's co-pilot and helping with anything that needs to be done. And Phil and I actually met at a very respected documentary company. We both had the first job, Maisels Films. And so we share a lot in common in terms of our filmmaking background. And I am incredibly happy to be on the project and have loved it so far.
Can you name
so
a
far.
couple
So
of...
far, it's good.
No, I
like, no, anything could happen in the next hour.
I meant I will love it more and more.
I know you. Yeah. And it's very good.
Sorry, Katie, what were you saying?
I was just going to ask you to name a couple of Maisels films so people can kind of gauge what we're talking about in terms of epicness.
Phil will help me, but they're incredibly well known for Gimme Shelter, which was a film about the Rolling Stones. These are not films that Phil and I actually got to work on, but we got to work with the people who helped make them, and they continue to do very prestigious projects. And Salesman, which is, I think Phil and I share that as our personal favorite, which was about traveling Bible salesmen.
Yeah.
Grey Gardens. They also did any documentary film you've seen about Christo. They profiled, and countless others.
Yeah.
And Phil and I actually did work on a film together there about the Getty Center in Los Angeles, the Getty Museum.
Okay.
Indeed. And if it's interesting, you mentioned that, it reminds me that I hadn't really thought about it in quite a while, that one of the reasons I love doing these I do a lot of things, biographical things or portraits of people. And the Maisels did that a lot. So a lot of the, if you've seen footage of the Beatles arriving in America, or a lot of the early stuff about the Beatles, the Maisels shot that. In fact, Paul McCartney got the Maisels later in life. They also filmed some stuff after 9/11. Albert, who was still around, the cinematographer. But definitely go watch those films. And if you've seen the movie Glengarry Glen Ross, that's a little bit inspired by the movie Salesman. Salesman's very different, but great stuff.
They probably used less strong language if they were Bible salesmen.
It's true. It's touche.
Philip, we have a couple people on the team. Well, there are many more, but there are a couple that we had invited to be here today who could not come because they had conflicts, one with travel and one with a family event. Did you want to describe any or all or both or neither?
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out. And I don't know how to say shout out in French, but Anais Michel, who is our who's been editing a lot of stuff which we're not showing, which is because that's how good it is. And it's stuff for the movie itself. And she's an amazing editor and documentary filmmaker in her own right. And she is in Paris. right now.
And she did, we've shown a couple shots of the lookbook. She did the lookbook as well. She like some of the shots of the artwork for the aesthetic of the movie that we've shared on Kickstarter. She did. Right? Oh no, that's
I think
sorry.
Amanda. Yeah, but that's someone else.
Another A name, Amanda.
Yeah, our graphic designer, unbelievable.
Oops.
She's amazing. Yeah. Also, I'm giving another shout out to the son of the next person I can mention, which is Ben Lewin. If you're out there, hope you're doing great. Ben cut the Kickstarter trailer, if you guys had seen that, and he's amazing. And I'm actually, it's funny because I was pulling together some clips to show today, and I came across some other stuff that Ben had done that I didn't even know we had. It probably was shown on during the Kickstarter insanity, but so I don't. Anyway, Ben is absolutely amazing. He had cut the Firmament trailer for Cyan, and I had seen it at some random event or whatever, and I don't often notice or think about the editing of something. And I just saw this and I knew how hard it was to make something like that. And I literally turned around and I said, "Who cut that?" And he told me, and I said, "We gotta get that guy." He's a really wonderful person. And his father, which I don't even think I knew at the time. And actually, Katie, you could tell people about Blake a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of people who are in the Myst community and definitely fans of Cyan will remember Blake, who first brokered I've known Blake since 2006, right as he was starting to talk to Cyan about finding a new home for Uru on GameTap, which it did for a while, as you could get all the games on GameTap. So he was a business exec at Turner when I was at Cartoon Network. And then he ended up working with Cyan as their biz dev and did a lot of partnering work for them. So until about the end of 2019, he was with Cyan. And now he's come on with the documentary to help us with all kinds of wonderful, fun, non-creative business type things that none of us enjoy doing nearly as much as we do, the fun stuff with the film.
Right, different kind of creativity. He's also, I feel like doesn't talk about it that much, but he's kind of a lover of computer history and,
very much.
and game history and technology history, and he knows a lot of people in that world, which has been helping us a lot. Looking for partners to keep help us continue filming, and also tons of research that's helping. And he works in big media, so that's super. Yeah, Blake is incredible help to all of us, and a heck of a guy. And Katie, you all know Katie. Katie, by the way, let me tell you this. You have done a bang-up job, as they say across the pond, this weekend. I mean...
I want to just say...
Incredible.
And Kelly can back me up on this, and Cap and anybody else who's hosting. Hosting isn't easy. The leading up to it's a lot of pressure and stress and, figuring things out logistically. But once you're in it, the people that you're talking to, for example, the people on this panel, they make it so much fun, and the time flies by, and the questions that we're getting from people watching and just that back and forth, it's just easy. I love doing it. So thank you for saying that. But really, without the panelists and without the people watching, it would be a very much more difficult experience. I just am having a blast.
And Kelly has just chimed in from the chat and says she seconds that sentiment. And by the way, Kelly verify. Also, both of you guys, it's amazing what you guys do. I just want to tack on, thanks to the Mysterium committee for hosting. Instead of thanking you at the end, we'll thank you right now for hosting. That I know it's not easy doing these virtually or in person, but you do them both effortlessly. And I know behind the scenes it's sometimes a little frantic, but on the surface it looks amazing. You've done very well this year again. So thank you for having us. Yeah, and I thank you for, I think this is my 4th year, maybe 5th. I think 5th, because 5th? 19 was 3rd. Yeah, so, COVID was like the change, messed up my time, sense of time. But anyway, thank all of you from day one, from minute one, for really welcoming me and supporting me. And this movie couldn't be what it is without you guys who run Mysterium, and as well as you who attend. So. Did you want to introduce yourself for a moment and tell people? Everybody knows who I am. I'll come back a little bit after the I'm very, I'm
I know you're
personally
super excited about the next part.
Super
Elana, are
excited.
you ready? Because I can explain this a little bit before we
Yes.
launch into it. So what's happening right now is if you have backed the Myst documentary, either on Kickstarter or Fangamer, at the Planetarium pledge level or above, you are able to participate in the reward, which we have called My Myst Story, which is you can submit your Myst memories, however you envision that, to us visually by video or image or an audio file or even text. Just you can submit us a journal entry in text form, and we will be gathering that up and creating what Elana is about to show you. The way in which we're doing it, rather than just have a bunch of files dumped in a Google Doc folder somewhere, we decided to make it a fun experience in and of itself. And Phillip dreams big always, as everybody here knows. And there were times where we didn't know how we could possibly make it happen. And Elana has really come through in a huge way. So without further ado,
I said more Corinthian stone.
So sometime in the next
more marble.
Sometime in the next couple of months, this will go live, but we just wanted to show you a sneak peek. And so anybody who isn't at the planetarium level or above you can increase your pledge to get in on this reward.
And those who, and I just want to reiterate, for those, if you are not a backer at all right now, how should they,
oh yeah,
what can they take away from this? What should they be thinking as they watch this?
So you should be thinking of the first time you played Myst yourself and how you would want to describe that experience to Phillip. And I can send you the link where you can, if you want to become a supporter of the film, I mean, every dollar really helps what Phillip and the rest of the team are doing, then yeah, you can go right now to Fangamer. I'll put the link in all the various chats, and you can continue to back us.
Elana, you have
planetarium or above is where you want to be to get this next cool reward. Right
on. So Elana is now holding a giant scissors.
That's
and
right.
We'll be cutting the ribbon.
Yeah, this
exciting
is
news.
Such a joy to work on. I started out thinking about it from a very kind of web development standpoint, and Phillip came back at me from a very filmmaking and Myst standpoint. And so I had to think through, like, what can we actually do in a web browser? How can we make this as grandiose and atmospheric as Phillip wants it to be? And, the work is still ongoing, but I think we're pretty pleased with what we've put together here. So I'm going to try to share my screen. I hope you can all see the gates now, the gilded gates of the Myst Documentary Community Archives. And we're calling it that because, in addition to this being a way for you to share your stories with Phillip, it will hopefully also be a living archive of the Myst community that will hold all of our memories.
Right. I also think, by the way, Elana, you may have your Zoom, the pictures of all of us on the side is covering it up. Yeah, if you want to just kill that. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, it just comes up as a gray box. Oh, look at that.
There we go.
Someone wants to know what age you got this gilding from.
Yeah.
I know, but
it's funny because we originally were going to locate this within the Myst universe. It was going to be the literal library on Myst Island. And we talked about it, and we decided that what we really wanted was something that felt like a real world tribute to the history of Myst. So there are a lot of little references here, which some of you with a keen eye may be noticing. That these ribbon eyes.
There are many squeals of squeeze in the chat right now.
Nice. Okay, so let me take a step here into the archives, and let's hope this works. All right. So our gates pull open and we have these massive bookshelves with moving books because of course this is Myst and everything needs to be overly complex and mechanical. And we basically wanted, to have endless space for anyone who wants to share their
I have to interrupt for one moment because I can't take it anymore. It's so cool. Oh my God, that's so.
Yeah, this has come an awfully long
I love
way.
it. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you, Philip.
I've taken off my shoes and I'm in my socks and I'm sliding all around the tile floor.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know whether to point out all the little references here. We have.
Well, first, maybe tell people what would they do. So they come in.
Yeah. So you
what's
come
the purpose?
And there are a few different places you can click. You kind of need to search around for what you can interact with. I'm just going to show this sign over here, which explains a little bit. Welcome to the archives. Please step up to our revolving shelves and you can take out a book to read it. And so I'm going to kind of demonstrate what that looks like. So I take a step back here and I can click on these shelves. So let's step up to the shelves. The books kind of slide to a halt. And here now we can move through the shelves and they're kind of organized into different categories. Most of these are blank books here. You see they say your story here. So we're still obviously collecting all of these memories and there's a lot of room for them.
So each person or each family has a book. You'll fill out your book and it will go on these shelves. And on the left there, you've sort of labeled it looks like the shelves have little, there's different sections maybe, Kickstarter backers. Yeah.
So I have one example here of an actual Kickstarter backer who left a comment for us on Kickstarter. So here you can see the author name and we can pull out this book and we get the very thoughtful, sentimental memory.
Oh, Linda,
Yep.
She has Linda, you have a beautiful story if you're listening. Thank you for sending that.
Yeah. That's why we wanted to put it in as one of the early examples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were all very touched by this. So that's one example of the type of memory you can leave. It can be a piece of writing. I have another example.
Right now, Katie, sorry, one quick question. Katie, if people are not backers or anything, is this something they can visit and look, or is that comes later?
When this goes live, you will be able to visit.
Not live yet.
Eventually.
Right.
I think when we're first collecting, we'll be issuing people a password to get in if they are a backer at the planetarium level or above, and then they can access this. But over time, maybe even after the documentary is out, then people who are not backers will eventually be able to come in.
Yeah, and so it's like when you go to the museum and there's that. I always found it really cool.
Velvet rope.
Velvet rope and a sign that just says installation in progress.
Right. This is definitely that.
So just for one more example here on the scientist shelf, I put one book here by Robin Miller. This is a clip you may have already seen, but I just kind of wanted to show how a video works. So here we have.
So if someone submits their video of a Myst memory, this is what we'll see.
So you could pull it up. It's kind of the linking panel here, but you can make it full screen. And then, you can put the book away and pull out a different one. So we'll support uploading videos, text.
Not uploading, sorry. Video links is what we're doing.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, in some form, sharing with us video. It could be an audio clip, a photo, or text. So we'll take any of those 4 submission types. And we've talked about making it possible to add to these books over time if there are more artifacts you want to share. That's a work in progress, but that is, I think, our hope, that these books could have multiple pages. So yeah, let me step back here. And so there's, one other main feature of this room, which click on the red sign over here.
And let me just give a shout out to the, what lens is that? That looks like an 18 millimeter. I don't know, some super fisheye thing is super cool.
Yeah, you're talking about the room as a whole.
Yeah.
the distortion of the room, that definitely made it fun to animate those books on the shelves. The distortion in the background image added an interesting challenge. So yeah, if you backed to this level or higher, like Katie explained, you can also submit a contribution. So to do that, you step forwards here, and at Philip's request, I covered this table with a black sheet because, you know, we're kind of unveiling it. So I'm going to click here to unveil our little writing station. Yeah, we need some more sound effects here for sure. And I'm going to take one more step up.
So, oh man,
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
Thanks.
And Calamus is actually giving all the translations of things of all the Dunny in the chat, which is awesome.
Oh my God. Now I'm so glad that I actually used real Dunny.
Yes, that's right.
I think Eric was saying yesterday that some of the Dunny in the VR Myst was literally just said Myst riven, you know.
Yeah, the placeholders, yeah.
But
I'm ready. I'm ready to fill out my book. I got my pen. I got my
let's click here.
scarab.
The table for the art.
And so here you have a few different options. You can obviously add your name as the author. You can write your story here and tell Philip about how you started playing Myst as a child. And you can also click here to upload a file, like an image or an audio clip, or as Katie said, we'll have probably links to YouTube for the videos. And yeah, and so then you will submit this to us, and we will review it, and it will be added to the archives. I think that's pretty much everything I have to show off about this space.
It's amazing. It's really beautiful, and I'm sure people may be a little bit overwhelmed about exactly, you know, all the little details. But just take a moment. Let's just sit here for a second and look at this, as you do when in Myst. Like, you come into a really cool place and you just sit there and you soak it in.
Look in the ambiance. We've had a few questions about, so I just want to address, there's a lot of questions right now. Number one, if you have not yet backed, you can go to Fangamer, to the link I've been putting in chat, and you can go there and you can back the project. If you backed on Kickstarter, all your pledge has been already teleported over to Fangamer, so you can upgrade your pledge in Fangamer. So everything lives there now. So you don't have to do 2 pledges. You just increase the one you already have if you need to or want to. The other thing is things like accessibility considerations with the text. All of those things will be done by Elana and me when we're going through the actual process and beta testing that. And the other thing is, once we start inviting backers to Discord, which should be in August, we will be asking you to test the functionality and features, and we will be counting on you guys to help us find those smaller issues, and as we're testing the live process then. Things like, oh, there was another really good question. The text limit, all those things will be determined, and then text is going to have probably a longer limit than things like video size or the number of images you can upload. Text is probably going to be, if you have a very epic, long Myst story, text is going to be the way you want to go.
Bring it.
And supplement with visuals or audio files. So yeah.
If you're like me, your Myst story is practically 30 years long. So bring it. Yeah, and also I think what we can just, you know, there's a lot of details I'm sure people have questions with, and Elana, we're still refining some of this. So we will put out what's the best thing people can do, Katie, just sort of looking forward, would it be to wait for an update? Yeah, if you're a backer, you'll get an update.
You'll get an update on Kickstarter. If you're not, we'll probably have Jeff include something in their Cyan newsletter. We'll have it on our social media. If you're not yet following at the Myst Doc on Twitter, Facebook, I think Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, you should be.
And you can sign up for our email list. We haven't actually, we'll put more out on it.
We haven't put a lot of newsletters out, but
go to the website that Elana made. That's
mystdocumentary.com. Yeah.
The Myst Documentary.
The mystdocumentary.com.
Fantastic.
The Myst doc will get you there as well.
OSU Brainiac has a question for you, Elana, which is, what is the little thing in the shelves behind the red? This is the same thing Philip and I asked you last week. The little artifact in the
in on the right,
shelf.
on the right, at the 2 o'clock position.
Yeah.
It's a very special Easter egg that you will discover when you visit the site.
You're
Elana
so
is
good.
a very experienced web designer, and I imagine presenter. So has learned to dodge client questions with skill. And also, just last year, let's just leave it at this. Basically, you'll come here and it'll all be shown to you exactly what to do. It's not that complicated, but you'll see a blue sign there on the left and a red sign on the right, and you'll go forward. So just let's thank you, Elana, and this is incredible. And Katie too. Katie and Elana both have worked together on this incredible.
And
thing.
you. Every time we think we've got something cool, you come along and say, you know what? You know what would make it really cool?
Yeah. You know, we could delay our deadline even further. I got
Put it on a space shuttle.
Oh
No,
Okay,
no,
stop.
no, Philip.
get me Elon Musk.
You missed the shuttle.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over.
I'm going to this project.
Fantastic. All right. So continuing, that's great. Thank you. I know we have other stuff I want to show. And Kelly says she knows a guy at NASA.
Right.
Oh.
And in answer to a couple other questions out there,
sorry.
anything that you feel is what you consider your Myst story. So that includes all of the worlds of Myst. So if you didn't play Myst, if you came at it through Riven or Exile or even started in Uru, we still want to hear your story. If you have made it here to Mysterium, you have a Myst story. And so we're not going to turn anyone away just because they're talking about Uru, for example. Any Myst world is wide open. Philip is a very open-minded guy. He wants to know all of it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and Rachel can back me up on this. Being when you have a background as an editor, you can never have enough anymore. Fantastic. This is so cool. I can let's continue the show and tell.
Sure.
I think it's time for some sneak peeks, a little bit of stuff. So what we're going to do now is I've strung them all together. Just a bunch of little samples. This is about 5 minutes, I think. And what these are some of these, depending on what you've seen throughout the process that we've been working on this, you may have seen some of these little things before, but I feel like people, not everyone has seen everything, and they're all just super fun. So there's some brand new stuff in there. There's also some stuff you might have seen before, but as we start to collect them, I think you'll start to see them also in context and maybe get a little more of a feel for the documentary. Again, these are not scenes from the documentary, really, but because the end has not yet been filmed, as I said so magnificently in the
right.
stone frieze there. But we're sort of getting a handle on, we want to generate these things so you guys can see some of the stuff we have. Like Randy said, these guys, I mean, I'm off on planet Mars. These guys have been going through stuff and just digesting all this stuff that I gathered, and I had filmed, and Kelly had filmed over the past.
How many hundreds have you got?
5
now?
years. 5 years. About 150 hours, I think.
Oh no, you've got more than 150 hours, I think.
Okay.
I feel like that's light, but I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to roll this and you'll say this is really cool. Also, Joshua, you're going to laugh hysterically because Joshua, as a good editor does,
yes.
And Will and Rachel know this too. They've been guiding these creation of these snippets. It's a very careful process. You really should attend to it properly. So of course, what do? I wake up in the morning. I haven't even had my coffee yet. I open up iMovie and I throw a bunch of pictures together and throw some music on it. And I'm like, using one of these crazy templates. So it begins with that.
Okay.
You're just going to see this crazy trailer. It's kind of hilarious for fun. It's a little love note from me to Mysterium.
Aww.
And then there'll be a bunch of other little snippets from the Myst documentary. I am sharing sound. I am optimized for video. If everybody wants to just mute their microphones so people can hear the sound well. And somebody raise their hand right away if the sound is not working. Here we go.
You're sharing your whole screen. Good.
Yeah, thank you for that, Katie. Here we go. Was there sound?
No.
No.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we're also seeing some of the Zoom overlays.
No sound.
Okay, stand by. I'll leave my mic on. Just see if that helps. Share sound. Okay. All right, let's see what happens.
That worked for us. No, it stopped.
Is it playing?
It cut out.
Philip, I think the audio is coming through your microphone, not through Zoom.
Good to know.
Yeah, so
Thank
when you talk, we can't hear sound. So,
Right.
but yeah, we can hear it.
I love live broadcasting.
We'll
This is
do it
brought to you
live.
by, what would they do? They would have those commercials. So anyway, it'll come through my microphone. So I'll just do that. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, take 100.
Back then, the computers we were using were much less powerful, and so we built everything in wireframe. We would set up wireframe models, apply textures on wireframes, and all of this is we couldn't see anything. We couldn't see the worlds. And then when we were ready to actually see what we had created, we would choose a camera, and then we would say, okay, render. There it is. It's a beauty. It's a thing of beauty. There we are. Wait, I have the wrong hands on the wrong. Let's switch my hands. There we go. Ah, look. Oh, holding the book. Ooh. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Let's open that.
Let's look at the teapot. It's tea time.
Martin Newell's 3D model of Lolita Teapot has become hello world of the computer graphics community.
A teapot was kind of like a way to test computer programs. We kind of made a remark about that in our Spelunks game. In that game, you would go down these caves and you would get to different rooms. There's all these activities in each room.
in one of the rooms, there was a surreal forest. In the middle of the forest was a teapot, and there was a door in the teapot, but it was this identical teapot.
Set. Can't believe I remember this. I hated programming because it was about math and horrible things I didn't know anything about. But when I learned HyperCard, I just started using buttons to make things happen. I got curious and I started changing things. Sometimes it would break what I had done. Sometimes I had power. I realized like, oh, this is really, really fun. That really got me very, very excited to learn more about that world that was under the hood.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Gus McGrath.
What is your actual name?
August. Okay. Like, totally say no if it's weird, but if possible, could you just be like, oh, my friend. I know it's so weird. I know it is, but I've wanted it since I was 8.
Ah, my friend.
You have fans, in case you didn't notice.
Oh my God.
You want a picture?
We went into Myst a little bit nonchalantly, or a little innocently, and we wanted to make a really cool game, and we wanted to make something that had a story, and we just didn't totally, first of all, have the time. We didn't necessarily have the knowledge. We worked from intuition and created something. By the end of our design, like, oh, if we really work with more intent, the game makes more sense.
This is a game that I compare every other game that I play to. My whole life, I hold that as a standard. It's a world that you don't just go to it and go away from. I would walk away from the game and the puzzles would still be in my mind. I could work on them when I wasn't in front of the computer. And I thought that was really magical. I'd never experienced any kind of game, board or computer, before that. Hi, my name's Shay, and I'm sorry that I'm such an emotional mess right now.
Oh my gosh.
And these games were really pivotal gaming experiences for me.
Oh, wow.
And I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Aw, thanks for the support. Nice meeting you. What was your name again?
Shay.
Shay?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Shay.
Games that you've heard of and the ones that move you the most stay with you. The world was in you. And obviously, I'm all teary today because it's still in me. It's still in me, every one of them.
There we go. Excuse me for the mic noise. Hearts. People are showing hearts.
Yep, lots of hearts.
Open your mics.
That was awesome.
Hey, if you're out there, by the way, say
Ninja
hello.
cutting onions.
Yeah. And shout out to Joshua for some of the fabulous editing. Also Ben.
Thank you.
Also Anais may have cut some of those. Also Brian Diaz. We've had different people here and there cutting stuff, but absolutely beautiful. So much we could say about all those things, but I figure I just want to share. And I know our time is limited.
You should be able to stop. Or are you showing something else?
Stop sharing. Nope, that's good. Yeah, I want to be able to take some questions.
Neurovac says, Philip, I've always appreciated your devotion and passion. All the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And we did have a question about the teapot. Jean wanted to know if it was in the Living Computer Museum in Seattle. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it is.
Great.
That is where that is. And by the way, those people, you know, one of the wonderful things about documentaries is you get to meet a lot of people who also treasure the thing you're making the movie about, right? Because they're the ones who are going to have the interesting stuff or have saved things that we can also help us. And the people who run the computer museum there, it's called the Living Computer Museum and Labs or something. Basically, it's a place where I think it was Paul Allen's idea to have all the important and even some of the lesser known computers that were important over the whole beginning of the personal computer revolution preserved and running. You can sit down at just about any one of those machines and play with them. So anyway, they were so excited when I brought Rand and Robin there. So anyway, just real quick thank you to them. Yes, good question. I just want to give real quick, just a glimpse of what has been going on. COVID was, let's not even go there, okay? Crazy, right? And for all of you out there and all of us, holy moly. One of the amazing things was, I think as I may have mentioned before in updates or something like that, just before COVID hit, which we didn't know was coming, you know, I'd been going out to Spokane, and a lot of what they do at Cyan is improvisational. Like all of a sudden something cool happens all the time. And so I actually got some equipment and had the cameras and sound and lights, and it sent it out there. And, you know, my good friend, colleague Jeff out there at Cyan was helping me. And then literally COVID hit just as the stuff was shipped and locked inside the offices. So I'm not sure what they're, I'm not even sure. I don't think they've actually even officially gone back to the office. I think some people have. Anyway, we'll get that all back up and running. In the meantime, they have been kind enough to everyone involved. Actually, Robin on his own, and Rand, and then Eric and Hannah at Cyan, and a bunch of other people have been recording Zoom meetings and that they've been having, which has been incredibly valuable. So I'm storing that stuff, and we just have a ton of that, and it's been amazing. And I've been able to keep up with how things are going. And I've done a bunch of interviews. You know, I continue to do interviews here and there, particularly as Randy and Will and Rachel are working on sort of the outline, and we have questions about what exactly was this, what was that. I periodically, you know, get together on a Sunday with Robin or Rand on Zoom and record things. An amazing example of how good this stuff can be is that scene of Rand trying out, he's beta testing the VR, Myst VR. He filmed that. You know, he's a good, I'll tell you, if you want to get a subject in your documentary, get one who also loves to just
multi-camera filming,
play with stuff. Yeah, so he's got it's his iPhone, his laptop, and a GoPro, and then I sent him like a wireless sound thing, and also his wonderful wife Robin was there, and she's recording using the voice recorder on her iPad, because what we're not showing is, you know, he's giving notes and she's taking them down and she's asking questions and she's making comments. So anyway, we got all this stuff, super cool. But yeah, and then it comes down to the editor and it looks badass. So thank you, Joshua.
We do have a few questions. Did you want to talk a bit about anything else before we launch into questions?
No, only what other people want to know. Yeah.
All right. So Game and Type is asking, can you talk about the technical workflow and software used for the documentary? How does it enable remote collaboration for the team? Which is an excellent question.
Yeah, it's funny. That used to be like a thing of wonder. I've actually been working remotely since 2005. But nothing particularly well. Okay, so Joshua is using Premiere. Anais uses Avid. None of these are for any reason other than that's what they find comfortable using, and we're fine with that at this stage. You know, when it comes down to the film editing, we'll see what exists. I'm using iMovie for half an hour. Yes, we saw that. So, stepping it up a notch. But as far as the remote stuff is, actually, I'm not gonna name it, even though I think they're very good, just for our own safety. But we use an online storage place that has like we have copies of low quality versions of things, and they're high quality stuff like that. But really, it's not any different than anyone would do. I mean, the fact that video conferencing is like so common now, it's more than capable. So we're also not in the most intensive editing phase yet. So I am working on other projects. Actually, there's an incredible film finishing up that editing that is using sort of more robust stuff. Like, we have more than 1,000 hours of footage on that project. But ultimately, the way things work now these days is when you're editing, the actual files you're editing with, the sequence itself, is a tiny, tiny file. It's just basically literally a text file. It's an XML file or something like that. And if everybody has copies of the media or access to the media, all you have to do is pass these little things back and forth. If you're really interested, and if you're actually working on something and you have more questions about that, I or anyone here is happy to help. We're all in it together, as we say. So.
Yeah, and I'd also be happy to talk about remote collaboration and things like that if anyone has questions about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Everybody on this panel does different things. I mean, I've been working remotely a little bit longer than Phillip, 2003, but it's easy for me because I work in social media and everything I do is online. Will or Rachel, how do your tasks get affected by working remotely?
Yeah, I think it's Rachel's got tons of depth of experience in the sort of editing process in particular, so it's interesting to hear her take. But I think for a lot of ways, this current era opens things up a bit, just as far as who we're able to talk to, who we're able to bring in. Joshua is out of state, which he's somebody who, me being in Brooklyn, I wouldn't necessarily get to work with him if we were in the in-person world. So I think
we've actually never met in person.
We've never met.
Yes,
yeah.
To them I'm the face on the screen.
Wait, who?
Joshua and
Joshua and anyone.
Joshua has not met anyone in person. As far as we know, Joshua could be like
That's
Max
right.
Headroom or something.
He's your Canadian girlfriend. Got it.
Oh.
You don't know that trope? Never mind.
No.
I'll explain it later. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he lives in Channelwood, and
we're just all going to
do.
converge on your house to surprise you
I
one
work
day,
from
Joshua.
the trees.
he keeps the windmill going. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel, go ahead.
I've worked remotely and non-remotely, and it kind of blows my mind how well it goes. I actually on another level thought there might be something lost. Phil and Will and I meet a lot on Zoom, and at first I was like lamenting, like, oh, it's a shame we won't have some of the next layer stuff when you're working with people. And I feel like nothing has been lost. And only things.
Some of those layers you don't want. I mean,
like
leave your layers on.
I don't have to
with COVID, there are more
the
layers.
bottom layer
Like,
comes off. I know.
Well, I just have found there's nothing lost. And to Will's point too, you get, all of us are working on multiple things, and there's a way, I wouldn't be able to work on this project if it wasn't remote. And I'm very grateful about that. And, having one of our editors in France is a non-issue, and it's kind of amazing. I mean, I do think it will be fun for all of us to be together in person, and I'm sure that will happen soon. And
on the red carpet.
Yeah, and I'm very excited about, going on film shoots together. But I personally, I think we should maintain this method forever, in part, because it's just.
Now, one person on the project was when you talked about going on shoots. So Kyle Kelly, who's not here at the moment, he is a cinematographer, and so he was probably the most harshly affected of all of us, because he literally could not do his job, so he was grounded for a while. Interestingly, in that time, his wife had a baby. I don't know. I cannot say that those two things are combined. I don't know how things work, but He has to have a baby, but he is now out and about filming, so that's great. So I know that we will be looking forward to talking to him and getting back up to planning our shoots
And Randy,
on the road trip. Yeah.
How are you doing with all this with being remote? Because you're actually quite far as well. You're in Seattle.
In Seattle, so 3-hour difference there from most of the brain trust here. But people keep complaining about Zoom, like, oh, I'm so sick of it because of COVID. But really, it's making all this so much easier. That's been my main connection with Phillip. So yeah, I think it's great. It hasn't really affected me at all. It's only the bit of a time difference, but that's easy to do. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Rachel.
very briefly. The other thing that I've loved is in the olden days, if Will and Phil and I were reaching out to somebody, 99% of the time it would be on the phone or maybe in person if they were local. And now what I love is it's always implied we'll have a Zoom. And I just find that, you know, if you're talking to a certain kind of person, to have that FaceTime that you might not have had before has been a real advantage on a lot of levels.
That really makes a big difference. And definitely there is fatigue.
I've met so few. I've met only Phil in person, but it feels like I know everyone. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Joshua, I feel like we know Joshua. We may meet him in person. I mean, Joshua, you could be like 6'5" or something. I don't know.
Right, and nobody has any
could.
clue.
No one would know.
Right. I'm actually only
huge.
I'm 2'5".
Yeah.
Yeah.
2'5".
I'd actually like to.
Oh, go ahead, Joshua.
Sorry, I'd like to add something about the collaboration aspect a little, if I can.
Absolutely.
This is kind of my first real entry into like a real working professional job in the industry. And I have just been blown away by how cool and fun it is to have these team meetings and get feedback from other people on this team and share ideas. And I'm just super thankful and happy for Phillip that he's put his trust in me for delivering these edits and getting this work done with the snippets and everything. It's been a blast. And, you know, I'm just, if it hadn't been for this collaboration and Zoom and everything, it would not be as fun and as interesting as it has been. So
I'll repeat it again. The chutzpah, if you know that word.
Yes.
It's a dunny word. A dunny word that Joshua had, and he just emailed me. Actually, and let me say, he's not the only one. A lot of people, emailed me and said,
sure.
I'm really interested in this project. Could you have any help? I never would have had the courage to do that. So kudos.
But
to
he's
you.
got the talent to back it up, which
that's the other thing.
Very well.
He's the only one here. Yeah. In terms of all those other people. So trust but verified, Joshua. I do trust you, but you do good snippet. He gives good snippet.
With 1 minute to go, I just wanted to say there were a lot of questions we didn't get to, but there is in the Discord server for Myst convention, Mysterium Con. There is a channel called the Myst Documentary. If you have any questions, you can put them in there and I'll be answering them. And anything I don't know, I will poke the brains of everybody you see here to get answers for you.
Right away. And I just want to throw in before they pull the channel. There's two emotions I've found I can benefit from always. Certain ones like anger and fear will not do nothing but cause you trouble, but humility and gratitude will usually do pretty well for you. I am so grateful for not only this, but I also, let me just say in case I don't know if some friends of my other projects that are listening, thank all of you. I mean, we all have been through a really crazy, tough year. And I've, been fortunate to pursue making movies. And, but it's really all of you who, I really don't do very much. Everyone out there is keeping their own things going, and we're keeping each other going. And we did a Kickstarter in the middle of a pandemic, and people are still talking about it. I don't even know if people know a number of the people at Kickstarter who were helping us were laid off during the pandemic and continue to help us.
During our Kickstarter being live.
Yeah, during our, and we're helping us nonetheless.
And continued to help us when they weren't working, and continued to share it and continued to work on it with all their, all the weight and leverage they had. Incredible.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
And Cyan has been incredible. So just such an open book. I mean, if any
Yeah,
company
that's good.
is an open book, it's Cyan. But you know, for the past million years, they've been so very, I don't want to say secretive, but yeah, very careful with what they share, and it always needs to be the right time and the right thing. And they've just thrown the doors wide for Phillip, and it's been lovely to see.
Yeah, every single one of you from the whole Miller family, literally their family, all the way
Right.
down to everybody at Cyan. It's wonderful, and there's a lot more to come. Man, I saw the Myst PC version thing, the Hannah and Eric demo. I was blown away.
Yeah.
I had
gorgeous.
I had a feeling I've not had since I saw the very first game. Anyway, I had a lot I could say about that. Amazing. Chuck revealed some incredible projects, Chuck Carter, that he's working on. So like, there's so much coming up that we're going to be capturing. And
in case anyone missed it, missed. Next year, Mysterium is in Denver. And so the Myst documentary will be there too next year.
Rocky Mountain High.
There you go. We'll
Fantastic.
have I just have a quick PSA, which is if you backed at one of the top 2 tiers, reward tiers, check your email. There's an invite for you there that's very important and time sensitive. So if you backed at one of the top 2 tiers, thank you. That's it. I'm done all the community stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everyone at Mysterium.
Thank you, Hannah, for taking questions. And those of you that didn't get your questions answered, we will be answering them.
Indeed.
Thanks,
Bogdan,
Phillip.
Mysterium.
Drive safe.
Happy Mysterium, everyone.
Happy Mysterium.
Happy Mysterium.
See you in Denver.
Yeah.